Welcome back. Today we are talking about the Enrichment of Life movement through Cobb County's ELM program. We were just talking with Debbie Liss-Patton. She is the director, and now I am joined by two of the participants, Margaret Edinburgh and Dennis Hayjack. And thank you so much for coming to join me today.
Thank you for inviting us, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you both. Well, we're looking at some beautiful artwork here that is the handiwork from both of you. But before we talk about the pieces, I want to know your personal stories, how you came to know about ELM and how long you've been involved. Ladies first. Margaret, go ahead.
I'll go first. I was at a meeting, a gathering of some sort, maybe a storytelling venue, and this lady named Brenda Harris, I never knew her, but she knew me, and so she was telling me about ELM. And I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I said, I'm going to find out more about that. So when I did, I was hooked. It's like I've drunk the Kool-Aid. I call myself a sampler of life. And so I just love trying different things. And if I don't like it, you know what? I don't have to do it anymore. But
There you go.
I've taken the first class I took was a creative writing class with ELM. And I wrote this children's book about my brother when he was born. And then I learned that you could decorate gourds, gourd embellishment, and like Debbie said, there are 56 different classes, so I've got from now on to learn all these wonderful new things or experiment. If I don't like it, I can just move on to the next thing.
Sure.
But I got so involved in it, I think I was possessed. This little girl in me makes me do things, and then the parent says, now look what you've done. Well, I've volunteered to teach a storytelling class, and the parent in me is saying, now look what you've done. So we'll see how that works out. It'll be my first experience.
But you are a professional storyteller, I understand.
Well, some people say I am. I'm working. I'm a work in progress.
How did you get interested in storytelling?
I think we all are storytellers. There are just things that happen in our life that we want to share with people, and it never stops. It's ongoing. And then I got involved in Toastmasters, and they actually give you a book that you can learn to do speeches on storytelling, and I just want to cultivate that skill.
I love that. That thirst for knowledge. That's wonderful. Well, Dennis?
Well, I'd retired, and I was always looking for classes to do. I thought I'd take some painting after retirement. And I stopped at the library one day, and I saw this pamphlet laying there on ELM. And I looked in there, and I said, I always wanted to learn wood carving. I had no idea anybody taught these classes. And so I took a wood carving class. I had no idea how to do it or anything, no tools or anything. And they brought us. They trained us, and it's just very easy to do, it turns out, just a few strokes, and then it's practice after that. And then at the end of each session, they have a show and tell where you bring what you've worked on there. Well, I saw some pine needle baskets there. I said, these things are really cool. And they had stained glass work there and all these other things. I said, so I started taking those classes then, too. It's just really exciting. I must have taken, 10 or 15 different classes now.
Really?
Yes.
Now, did you take one each quarter?
One or two.
Okay, all right.
A morning and an afternoon usually.
So kind of two different broad ranges there, something completely different from each other in the morning and afternoon as well.
Yeah, some people, they have wood carving in the morning and afternoon, so you can take it all day if you want. But in stained glass, some of the classes are like that. They have bridge all day if you really like bridge.
For somebody who is just now learning about ELM and finding that they have extra time and they really want to try a new class, they want to try to learn a skill, you say wood carving is simple. I'm looking at that and thinking there is no way I could do that. Talk to me about building up that confidence to make that first step, to go forward and wood carve or tell a story or even put my thoughts on paper. How do you convince somebody this is a good thing to do?
As far as wood carving goes, the first session is something very simple. They teach you a few strokes, and you get a little practice piece of wood to work on, and they say make it like this. And they teach you about safety, which is very important because you're going to cut yourself probably once when you ignore the safety rules. So they go over that, and then after you cut yourself once, then you learn to put on gloves and protection and this and that, and how to do the strokes properly. And that's not your first piece probably,
Okay.
but it doesn't take that much to do it when somebody's showing you the various techniques for doing a beard or doing eyes and things like faces. Of course, are the hardest thing to do probably. But they do bring you along slowly, and there's always somebody that can help you with a problem, a tool, a question, anything like that. So all the people are very friendly and very helpful there.
And scrimshaw. We were talking about that earlier. There's a piece of scrimshaw here that you created. Yeah. That is an old art. Tell me about that. How do you do something like that?
The same way. As a matter of fact, the first class, everybody thought, and some people even said, it's too hard, I can't see well enough, it's too complex, I can't do it. And the instructor said, just be patient. Everybody says that the first time, and you work through it, and it is hard, it is difficult the first time, but then you find out what you're doing, and it becomes very simple. And I don't know why it's like that. It just is.
Well, I'm curious because, we watch this on Antiques Roadshow, and we see where they have the scrimshaw, and I've always been curious, do you use a burnishing element or just a carving? So how do you get the color on there?
Yeah, we do it pretty much the way they did it back in the 1700s on whaling ships. They used to go out for 5 years, and they had nothing to do, so they used the whale bones and the whale tusks or whatever to carve on. And what they do is carve it with a knife, and we use something to make a mark on something smooth. And then what they did was they rubbed it with the black they got from the lamps, and that would leave a black mark where they put the scrape. And we use ink, or we use oil colors or something like that. So here on this one, it has black and blue on there. The blue is just a different color of ink.
Okay, so it's all one color, and then you apply
still
the colors
done the
later.
same way. Right?
Wonderful. Margaret, I have a story in my brain. I want to get it on paper, but I don't have the confidence, or I'm not really sure where to start. How do I write? How do I tell a story?
There is somebody at ELM that can help you with that.
Okay.
The lady that helped me with the creative writing was Barbara Key. And you start with an outline. First you have to have an idea. Then you start with an outline, and it's pretty much the same with storytelling. And there are all kinds of resources. You can get books at the library. You can order books from Amazon.com. Even yesterday, I bought a book on character modeling at the Goodwill. So the world is our oyster, and we can just find all kinds of information that helps us to move to where we want to go. The thing about it is passion, and then the willingness to do the work.
Sure.
So research. And I have a lot of friends that are storytellers. Janice Butt is the director. She's our president for the board of directors for Southern Order of Storytellers. So I actually belong to 4 different storytelling groups. And Janice, thankfully, is going to come and actually do a presentation in January, like probably a couple of weeks into the session, and then she'll come back in February and do something else relating to storytelling.
Okay, all right. So what's on the agenda for this quarter? What classes? You're going to be teaching storytelling. You mentioned something about a bead and jewelry making class to go with your embellished gourds. Dennis, what kind of classes will you both be taking this quarter?
This quarter I'm taking bridge in the morning, card playing game, and pine needle baskets in the afternoon. And we have a wood carving club now that formed from ELM, and they meet on Thursdays, so that's where I do my wood carving primarily now.
Okay. All right. Margaret, what other classes are you going to be doing?
My mind is just going crazy. I love the wood carving. I love the beading classes. There's a calligraphy class. I learned yesterday about a class on creative thinking. So I have a wide array of things that I am going to learn to do, but I think I need to take little baby steps because that little girl is pushing me too far. I'll spread myself too thin. So I have to focus on teaching the storytelling class.
Okay. Well, wonderful. I do want to, before we end the segment, want to talk about the pine needle basket. My yard is filled with pine needles, and to me, they are a hassle. They are a mess. I don't know what to do with them. But now I'm seeing that there is a way to actually make something beautiful out of those pine needles. How difficult is something like this? And I see you want a blue ribbon, so it's got to be quite difficult.
Well, this basket may have taken 60 hours to make, but a lot of it
Wow.
was experimenting with different techniques and getting, it has butterflies on there, getting the butterflies right. This has an interesting story. Well, you can't, first of all, probably can't use the pine needles out of your yard. These are long
okay.
pine needles. They're about 15 to 18 inches long, and that just makes it easier to coil the basket. Otherwise, it'd be difficult using the ones in your yard. Although you could if you're really persistent enough.
I'm not that industrious.
But this basket has a kind of an interesting story. It was about my third class I'd taken in pine needle basketry, and the instructor came in one day and said the North Georgia State Fair is in Smyrna this year, and she'd like everybody to enter a basket in there. She was going to enter a basket into the contest, and not expected to win anything, but just to gain the experience and introduce more people to pine needle basketry. And came to class the next week, and people had gone to the fair, and they said, "Oh, your basket won first place, blue ribbon."
Wow.
The instructor's basket came in second.
Wow, that's even more impressive.
Yeah,
Well, it's absolutely beautiful, and I am just so thrilled to be able to meet you both today and to hear about just the exciting things available through ELM and just the personal satisfaction that you both seem to get from it as well. Learning new things, expanding your talents, your abilities. I mean, did you ever think you would be doing basket weaving? Did you ever think you would
Didn't
be
even know about it.
embellishing gourds?
Yeah, I didn't even know these classes existed or that anybody taught these skills.
Yeah,
I
this
didn't
is
either.
wonderful. Well, for somebody who's listening and right on the edge of thinking, I'm not sure if I want to get involved, what can you say to them?
Go for it. Just go for it. This is a brand new year. So
The hardest
just-
part is finding out about the classes, and that's why this program is important. And it's just if you have a desire, try it. There's no pressure, and it's fun.
Exactly. And you found out about it by seeing the pamphlet at the library.
Right.
You found out about it word of mouth. So the information is out there, and we're going to have that on our website as well so that more people can check out the website and register for some classes. Dennis, Margaret, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it, and I wish you all the best of luck and continue to do well in your classes, and good luck with your storytelling teaching.
Thank
That's
you.
going to be great. I look forward to hearing from you about some classes that you're going to be teaching in the future, maybe.
Okay,
All
probably.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And as I mentioned, we will have more information about ELM on the website, cobbseniors.org. I'm Kathy Latham. Thanks for joining me for Senior Focus.